Now, today we're talking about the differences between male and female experiences in the wedding industry.
That was really good.
Oh, thanks.
That was really good. I'm very proud of you for that.
I don't know. I don't know how I did that.
That was phenomenal. Phenomenal
Cool.
introduction, guys.
Awesome.
Okay.
I did it. Cool. So let's talk about it.
So let's talk about it. So I'm going to ask you the question first.
Oh, God. All right. Here we go.
So obviously you being female, me being male, we could share our sides of the story here. So I'm gonna say this: being a male in the wedding industry, okay, you're kind of in the minority here. I was reading that 30% of like the vendors in the wedding industry are male, 70% are female. So you would think like, wow, it's a female-oriented industry. Things like that.
You would think it's female-dominated.
You would think it's female-dominated, but it's really
not.
It's really not. Well, I want to like.
In certain ways, it is. In certain ways, it's not.
This could be a really touchy subject for a lot of different reasons, for many different scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Women in the workforce are kick-ass. It's 2023.
100%.
Like you go, girl.
Me as a woman can
like
fully support that and get behind that.
Absolutely. I think women photographers, there are so many women photographers that I follow that are just lights out phenomenal.
And that's another thing I've noticed is photography was previously in prior years a very heavily male dominated industry.
Yeah, it was.
So a lot more women stepping onto the scene and in a position of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas back then, not so much. Yeah. I'm gonna let you ask your question because you said you had a question. So you start with that.
How is it being a woman? This is a general question. I feel like this is a very general question, but how is it being a woman in an industry like this where you have to take charge on the day? Because really a wedding photographer is about taking charge, and you have to have a bit large groups listen to you, people listen to you. And I mean, let's be honest here. We still live in a society that doesn't appreciate certain aspects of a woman taking charge.
Yeah. So in my personal experience, I don't really have a hard time speaking with a loud voice. Mm-hmm. So I'm used to wrangling a lot of people and I guess commanding respect in a fun way. And not making it so aggressive, mm-hmm. because, the second you're loud as a woman, you're aggressive in a lot of cases. So you have to do it in a way that seems relatively fun. Yeah. But you're pretty much having fun anyway. It's a wedding for the most part. No one really gives you too many problems. But some things I have noticed of note is that I have, if I ever have a second photographer on my team, like a photojournalist or someone shooting second for me, or an assistant or someone else that is a man, mm-hmm. he is always approached first.
I could see that happening. And as a male photographer that almost all my second shooters are female, I'm always approached first. And I think it's unfair to assume that.
It's obviously never the couple. They hired me, so they know. But it's
usually
always
the uncle.
It's always a random uncle.
Yeah, it's always the uncle.
Fuck off, Gary.
Yeah,
I'm over here. Yeah. I'm the one. It's me.
Uncle Joe, shut the fuck up. Right? Go back to Montana.
I'm the boss here.
Yeah.
Me.
Okay. Yeah. I think so. So this is my perspective as a male to give it to tell to a female. If you're not getting that respect or you don't think you're commanding the room, there are ways to assert yourself, I think. And that starts at as soon as you walk in the door. Yeah. As soon as you walk in the door, you make it known that hey, you're working with me today. Hey everybody, how you doing? My name's Lauren. I'm the lead photographer, and you always preface with lead. Always preface with lead.
I'll be with you all day.
Exactly. You say that. It's such a tricky. This is a topic when you put it on the podcast sheet. I was just like, ooh.
I know.
So from a male perspective, I'm like, ooh, okay, well,
chills.
From a male perspective, there are like people are like, oh, it's easy to be a male in any industry. It is. Okay. I'm going to say that and be fucking honest with you. It's a lot easier being a male in a female dominated industry than it is being a female in a male dominated industry. Like, I think that goes without saying, right?
Right.
If you're a male in a female dominated industry, you stand out. And you could stand out, and you do stand out if you're a female in a male dominated industry. But I think with wedding photography, it's a little different. I feel like some of like now I'm seeing a big shift where female photographers are really just lighting it up. Like, they are unreal. Like, most of the photographers I think I follow are female. I think probably the core group of my vendor friends here on Long Island are female. I think like 8 out of the 10 photographers that I really could call a friend here on Long Island are female. And it's crazy to think, but there is a shift. Like, I used to go to WPPI, which is like the wedding show in Vegas, and all you would see is females walking around. Like, that's all you would see. All the wedding photographers are female, portrait photographers, boudoir photographers, all female. So you like it's cool to see that shift, and I think women will get more appreciated in every fucking industry.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's a fucking great thing.
Yeah. And that's, that's not taking away anything from the men.
No.
You're obviously a wedding photographer, very, very popular wedding photographer who's very in touch with his feminine side.
You gotta, if you're a wedding photographer,
you have to be.
If you're a male and you're a wedding photographer, like, and you're not in touch with your feminine side, you're a fucking loser. Sorry.
You're just not in the right industry.
You're not in the right industry. You're just shut the fuck up. Like,
you have to
grow
be
up.
able to photograph women in a feminine way.
Yeah.
Do it.
I joke all the fucking time. I'm like, literally, most of the time when I'm working as the lead, like, if we split the groups, I'm with the girls. My second shooters are with the guys.
Yes. Which is a nice change of pace for me as a second shooter for you sometimes.
Yeah. So you're always with the guys. So I have a good dynamic with like bridal parties with girls and everything like that, where, I'm trying to make them laugh, comfortable, all of that stuff. And so that's the other perspective, like, where I think, where women could feel like they get pushed around a little bit. If men become too assertive, then sometimes they're looked at as like dickheads. And you have to toe
You're a dickhead, I'm a bitch.
You have to toe a fine line. You really do. Like, you really do. Like, you almost want to toe that line from both sides. Like, as a male, like, I'll have fun with the girls, like, like get them rowdy, have like fun, like that's my style of photography. Like, some are a little bit more soft or romantic. Like, they want to like make everything look like a Vogue cover.
And then some are a little rough and tumble.
Yeah. But with the guys, I'm me. I'm a dude. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's throw them up in the air. Let's fucking go, guys.
Let's go smash a few beers.
Yeah, let's go tackle
them.
Let's
go break shit.
Let's go fucking mess up the garage.
Fuck this shit. Let's go play video games.
They love when I bring up my video games. Like, they love when I bring up video games. But no, like, so, like, you have to, I think, as whether you're male or female, you're towing both lines. Like, you have to relate to both sides, male, and you have to relate.
You gotta,
to
immediately read the room. That's why those like final appointments are so important. So get an idea, and engagement shoots obviously, to get an idea of like what the people are like and like what their vibe is. Otherwise, you're walking into it blind. So please do an engagement shoot with your photographer before you do your wedding. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, do you feel respected as a female wedding photographer by like other vendors and like?
Oh, that's a rough one.
We're getting real.
Yeah.
We're getting real. Hold on, I gotta take a sip of coffee. We're getting real.
No, not always. I mean, I have really good relationships with certain vendors. Like I have some vendors and coordinators and like florists even that I love and like have worked with, who do respect and go like above and beyond to let you know that they are. But then there are some people that like utterly treat you like you are something on the bottom of their shoe.
Why are they maitre d's?
It's always maitre d's.
It's always maitre d's.
It's always a maitre d.
I know. I know what you're gonna say, right? Like, I don't even need to.
It's always the fucking maitre d, and like, who? I mean,
why are the maitre d's always like 67-year-old men who are overweight and balding and have?
You know who you're talking about. You don't.
Matt knows who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
I'm not even gonna look over there. Matt knows what I'm talking about. But why are these maitre d's that have been around way too long, right? And they've been in the industry way too long.
But they feel like they're royalty.
They do. And literally, like, what do they got on the owners of these places?
I don't know, man.
But they treat, like, I noticed this, okay? Because I've worked for female photographers. I second shot for a few. I always like to. Like, and
but do they always talk to you first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
gross.
And I'll literally say, oh, she's the main.
Yeah.
Like, she's the main today. I'm along for the ride. It's usually vendors. I feel like other vendors are usually pretty good. You know, bands, DJs, things like that. Like they see you, you kind of get to know them, especially like if you work in the same area, whether it's like Long Island or the city or something like that. Like you start to see these people more and more. They know who you are and things like that. But usually when you're at a venue or something like that, like as a male, you know, they look at the men first. And it's annoying, but I feel like that's
at one venue, which I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page, you, me, and him.
We're not mentioning the venue.
We're not mentioning, but at one that I've been to several times, it's happened every single time where it's like somebody else that I'm working with has told me that I have to act a certain way to make that person, the maitre d', do anything that I want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be met with like intense resistance. And it's like, all I'm trying to do is my job.
Yeah. I've worked there. I know what you're talking. I know who you're talking about. And like I know what you're talking about.
Whoever's watching this, if you're a photographer, you know exactly what the fuck we're talking about.
You know what we're talking about. If you're a line photographer
and if you
or
don't
videographer,
know, you'll figure it out eventually.
You know. I will say this. That one maitre d' it's an impartial to male or female.
I know.
It's the same thing.
I know.
But I have seen it though. I've seen other maitre d's or even DJs, or I'm going to generalize here. Because I have treat female photographers differently than males, and I think it's bullshit. Straight up fucking bullshit. Like, why?
I don't know.
It's just.
I really don't.
It's 2023. We're like, and I'm not trying to get political here,
but no one's trying to like.
Truth.
No one's trying to like fight with you over who's, you know, like a better gender. Like, we're all trying to just be out here trying to take good pictures and do good things for this couple that paid us a lot of money to do it. So like, why not just work together and get it done instead of bickering? Like, you know what I mean? Or being a douche. Yeah.
And you know, I feel like with vendors like could butt heads a little bit.
But it's never really that serious.
It's never that serious. And it's usually like vendors usually don't butt heads too often. Photo and video butt heads.
Photo. I was just going to say photo and video butt heads. But that's really just kind of like.
That's creative.
That's a creative thing. But we work it out in the beginning, right in the beginning.
Exactly. But vendors usually don't butt heads too often unless you're like in the same scape, like, you know, planners and florists, or, you know, photo and video, or like things like that, where you're all trying to. You have like you want to achieve your goal, but maybe you have different visions on how to get there. With dealing with the vendor, with dealing with other vendors and dealing with like the venue itself, it can be different for both male and female, and how you approach it and things like that. And usually you just have to be as respectful as possible. Like, at least that's what we try to do
for anything. Really, if you're going into a space that's not yours, you should respect it. So be respectful. Introduce yourself. Say your name. I'm here. Nice to meet you. And then go about your business. Yeah. Now make sure you don't do anything you're not supposed to do in those places. Now, when you're dealing with, like, as a female, I'm gonna get a little. Let me ask you. No, first. I'm gonna do that. I really have to ask this question. Fine. Okay. When you deal with a guest. Oh Jesus. So I'm hitting. This is a hard one to talk about, because as a male photographer, it's a little less than as a female photographer. The guest aspect, especially the drunk guest aspect. Let me ask you a question. Go ahead. In response. Okay. When you were second shooting for other companies or a female photographer or something like that, did they ever have to speak to you about being harassed by guests? Did the lead? Yeah. Saying, like, did they ever have to have a chat with you in case, you know, you were ever sexually harassed at a wedding? Of course not. every single male photographer that I've worked for has had to talk to me at the beginning of the wedding to ensure that they will have my back in a situation where somebody gets grabby.
I've had this conversation with you.
Yeah.
And all my second shooters know that. And that's the truth, because guests at a wedding, when
it makes me so mad. Like, I'm turning red.
This is we're a fun podcast. This is it's
a fun podcast, but we're also very real about these things.
We're going to be real about like this topic, like annoys the absolute shit out of me. Because of the fact that like I've had second shooters get hit on, and persistently hit on.
Yeah.
To the point where it's uncomfortable. And I've had to
intervene.
I've had to intervene, or I've had to tell the couple and the bride and groom, if he doesn't get his shit together, I'm packing up.
Yeah. And
that's as a photographer, you have that right to do that. You should have that in your contract, by the way. If you don't, especially female photographers, you should have that.
It's a hefty clause.
But it's the truth. If a guest makes you feel uncomfortable, you should have the right to
pack up and leave.
Pack up and leave. You know, you should have a right to, one, approach the couple, try to get it resolved first. But if that's not working, or they're not respecting that, then you should have a right to leave, and that you should have that in your contract.
Yeah, I've definitely had. I mean, it would be odd if it hasn't happened. Like, to be honest with you, because it happens like to anyone, every female photographer. I feel like at some point where some idiot guests, and I'm not using that word, like flippantly. I really mean like that is a fucking idiot. Who just like come up behind you, grab you, like think it's funny to like dance on you. Like, it's one thing for us to like, you've seen me dancing at weddings you've shot. Like, I have a good time. I love it.
We need to post those clips.
I support it. But I have a good time. I love to dance at weddings, but I don't want to dance with any men. I don't want to dance with any men.
You're there to do a job.
I don't want to dance with any men.
You're there to do a job.
I'm there to do a job, and I also am married.
Yeah.
And none of these dudes ever ask if I'm married. They don't seem to care. No. It's like wild. And it's not every guy, obviously. No. I'd be really fucking full of myself if I thought every dude was hitting on me. But like, I've had men like persistently not leave me alone, to the point where it's like, how many times am I going to tell you absolutely the fuck not, and then have to go to the couple and potentially ruin their night because you're acting like a piece of shit.
Yeah. And that's the part it's tough. This could be any business, but in the wedding industry, it's tough because you're there to, document the day, or you're there to, play a part in the best day of this couple's life. And the last thing you want to do is go up to them and say, like, hey, like, your cousin over here is being a complete douchebag.
Or your cousin's +1.
Yeah,
like,
is being a douchebag.
Some random idiot.
Get him under control, or, I'm going to have to leave. But if that's something you have to do, you got to fucking do it.
Yeah. I have been lucky where in the one instance, like, my groom saw it happening and stopped what he was doing in mid-conversation with one of his guests, walked over and was just like, if you ever fucking do that again, I swear to God, you're out of here. And I was like, oh.
It's a good groom.
What a guy.
Bet you he's still married.
What a guy.
Bet you he's still married.
He is still married. I just shot their baby.
Oh, that's really nice.
Like, a week
See,
ago.
good people exist.
Good people exist.
You ever get hit on by the groom?
I don't think so.
No? I know photographers that have.
I don't think so. I could also be confusing kindness for flirtation.
That's fucking juicy, though. That'd be really juicy.
No. Thankfully, I have not experienced that.
That's crazy.
That would be very, very awkward. I don't know if I could keep that to myself.
So, Oh,
it's juicy.
That is, right? Isn't that crazy?
That's so fucked up.
That's a fucked up story.
Like at your wedding?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's kind of... No.
Yeah.
They didn't last.
No. I have heard... I don't know if I should say this. I'm not going to name names. But I did hear that, like, one of the... I think it was an MC for an entertainment company. He, like, boinked the bride.
No.
On the night of.
Wow.
But it was... Yeah.
That's some juicy shit
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
like pretty fucked up, but like the whole story is fucked up. It goes way deeper than that.
I feel,
There's so much more to it, which I'll tell you off camera.
God. It's a very expensive night.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive
That was a
night.
wild one. But that has nothing to do with this.
But
That's just me being a fucking gossip.
so I will say this. So from a
So
it's
bad.
horrible. It's so bad.
So bad.
It's so bad. That's so bad.
Not okay. Bad behavior.
All right. So I don't even know where to fucking go
Matt's
from
so
there.
upset right now.
Matt is
He's
so
like
upset.
Pacing the room.
It's you know what though.
It's very uncomfortable.
It's very.
Don't fuck your brides
Don't
and
fuck
grooms.
your brides, people. Jesus.
Lesson learned here.
Yeah.
That guy did not do so well in life.
Well, you know what? This is actually a good time to bridge that because.
What are you gonna say?
Well, so with females getting hit on.
Females.
Sometimes it's the opposite for a male photographer.
Yeah. What's it like when you get hit on at a wedding?
Well, I'm not saying when I get hit on, but
You
so
get hit
I've
on.
had like I'm gonna tell a story. So one time I was at a wedding. It was like 7 years ago, and I was shooting on the dance floor, right? And I had the camera up on the dance floor, doing like overhead shots and like, clicking like that, everything like that. I had a girl come up to me. She was wasted out of her mind, and we're like, "I know what you did." She like said to me, "I know what you did." I'm like, "The fuck did I just do?"
What did you do?
I'm like literally, I'm just taking photos like this, right? Like over
I love
crowds.
that Matt's just laughing.
Yeah, it's great, right? So, she literally came up to me, deadpan in the eye, like this. I know what you did, and I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I literally looked at her. She's like, don't fucking do that anymore. And I'm like, I'm literally doing my job, lady. Like, and I think she was thinking I was taking photos like down women's shirts, and I'm like, what the fuck? But
Ma'am, I am 5'5".
yeah, it's like I'm literally like this. Like ergonomic screen didn't exist 7 years ago, by the way. Like they didn't tilt back then.
It's not socially appropriate for Michael to wear heels.
Like just fucking kidding me. So, but you could see where I'm getting at,
I get
right?
it,
Like
I get it, yeah.
like as a male, it'd be very quick for her to like be like, oh, he touched me or some shit like that, right? Or like he's taking inappropriate photos. And there's stories of photographers that like they've gotten into issues like that and things like that. And
Also know exactly what you're talking
yeah,
about.
and there's,
really unfortunate.
it's honestly, when that happens, you have to be careful in that regard. And there was nothing happening in my sense, but at the same point, like it's very easy for somebody to get accused of something.
Oh, for sure. All she would have to do is like go to one of her friends and be like, I saw the photographer shooting down this girl's shirt.
Yeah.
And then it spreads like wildfire, and it's like, I was literally just trying to get above people's heads.
And that's literally, you're trying to take there's
You
a
just-
circle, and you're trying to take a
Everybody-
photo
we
over
all
the
know
circle.
it. We're all short in here. We all do this.
So
Do it.
But that's what I mean. It's like you're being a
We're
male.
all in a circle.
Circle photos. Fucking listen. It goes both ways, right? Being a male
And your
and
arms hurt.
a male photographer has its obviously, like its positives, negatives. Same with female, and dealing with those very sensitive issues is something that I think you just need to take in stride. There's nothing that prepares you for this shit, right?
No.
Like, I wasn't prepared to like get like semi-accused that day of like doing something, which I still don't even know what the fuck she was talking about. But when that happens, like it literally, that annoyed me the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Like literally the rest of the night. I actually said something to the couple too. I was just like, one of your friends like was like saying, I know what you did and I still don't know what you did. And I pointed her out and I was just like they're like, she is fucking wasted.
A lunatic.
And that's what they literally said. She's like insane. Like ignore everything she said.
I thankfully have never had to leave a wedding due to like a guest's behavior, but it has come close a couple of times. And but honestly, it's not even from like a harassment standpoint, like directed at me, but like I've seen some like wild ass grooms who just get out of fucking control and it turns into a whole thing. But I will say, one memorable experience of a gentleman at a wedding. I call him a gentleman because he was an absolute gentleman. He did hit on me, but he did it in the most respectful and dignified way. Like, he took the rejection like a champ, said, have a wonderful night, and you have a lucky husband, and walked right back into the room. And I was like, thank you, sir.
That's awesome. That's really nice.
I'll take a compliment. I'll take being hit on, like, but you know, like, it's how you handle it afterwards.
Be respectful, people.
Be respectful. I'm not an asshole to somebody who hits on me as long as they do it the nice way.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
It's a compliment.
It's a great compliment.
But also I'm working.
Yeah, I'm working here, people.
Please leave me alone.
But so this was a sensitive one to talk about.
Yeah,
But,
it's tough.
But I felt like it's something that, like, stories that could be told and things like that, and our experiences, I think, can maybe, if somebody listens to this, they could kind of see it from our perspective as well as, like, relate to it. And
we're just trying to do our jobs.
Yeah, just do your best to handle the situation, like, in the best way possible. And what I mean by that is, like, just put a smile on. Just kind of, if it's really getting you to the point where you're uncomfortable,
talk to your couple.
You need to talk to the couple. And if anything happens to you where you feel like you're put in that situation,
pack it up.
Get the fuck out of there.
And from a guest perspective, don't do that shit.
Don't be a garbage human.
Don't be a garbage person.
That's it.
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
I think we'll wrap it on that one.
Yeah.
Don't be a garbage.
Don't be a garbage person.
Fucking Oscar the
Unless
Grouch.
you want to be like a garbage person. That's a very respectable job.
It's a great career.
Yeah.
Great career. Not knocking that. But
No.
don't be a garbage person.
Don't be a garbage person.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks. Okay, bye.